Okay, there we go. Now we back in full of physics, and he should be able to hear me right now. There we go. See, I knew it was something. Okay, it's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that, aka Mr. Succulent Ribs and Back Rubs, aka Mr. Smack Your Ancestry. And I'm here with my other host.
Hey everybody, it's your boy, Mr. Grantastic, aka the Professor, aka Negro Suave, aka Kenya Chew Woo Woo in season 2. What's poppin', everybody?
Oh man, what's popping? So, Mr. Grantastic, how's your week been, bro? How you been living, man? Talk to me.
Man, it's summertime. Clearly, yeah, these summer vibes still on and popping. The school year is over, so it's great. I'm chilling. Just chilling, thinking and planning, and trying to get some stuff ready for the summertime, y'all.
Okay, just don't steal my vibe.
Don't steal my vibe. You can't, not with these shades on. I keep the haters away.
So listen, what I want to do, books and business. I know I haven't been promoting a lot of businesses and books lately, but that's for a reason. Because bottom line, I don't care if you're black or not. If your business is not up to par, I'm not going to promote it. I'm tired of us wanting to promote our businesses and you don't know what the heck you're doing. So I'm going to promote my big brother, Zoe Williams. He has several books out. The three books that I want to recommend to you is The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing when Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Holographic Relationship is the second book in that volume series. And the final book in that volume series, which is coming out in the near future, July, is The Shrouded Lighthouse. You can go to theshroudedlighthouse.com, theshroudedlighthouse.com. In that book, he has something that is called a situation shift. And I'm going to show you what that is right now. Situation Shift by Zoe Williams.
You've heard of the term situation shift. I've taken it and made it something different. The situation shifts that we find ourselves in have the power to cause us to shift our perspective, either for good or for bad. When we shift for good, we've taken accountability of what we've been through, how we've been hurt, unhealed trauma. That causes us to shift in consciousness. So situation shifts can be very beneficial, right? If you're learning. Most people do not enter a relationship to find out what's wrong with themselves. Most people are looking for relationships to bring ease and peace, but that is only half of the coin. You're a co-creator of this relationship experience you're currently in, and that's why a situation shift has a silver lining.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Catch his show, Zoe What Morning Shows. You can go to YouTube or you can go to his website, IamZoeWilliams.com, or go to the YouTube page, Zoe What. He has a couple of radio shows. He's with Dash Radio. Previously, he was with T Radio V, which is radio and TV. This was before podcasting even existed. Zoe Williams is the reason why I even began my platform back in 2013. But that's a good brother there. Does a lot of great work. He's from Pasadena, California. Get at the man. So without further ado, I want to, because we have a special guest tonight. We have a very lovely special guest tonight. My goodness.
Indeed.
Oh, my Lord Jesus. Help me, Lord Jesus. Anyway, but before we get into introducing the guest and even getting into the topic and stuff, we want to get into a segment of the show that you guys love the most. It's called Chew or Choke. Mr. Grantastic, take it away.
All right, everybody, you already know what it is. It is time for Chew and Choke. That little ambiance change on y'all. Chew or choke. All right, we bring you topics and you let us know what you think. So, in the chat, those followers, if you like or agree with what we're talking about, you're going to put chew, CHOO, in the chat. All right. If you disagree or you dislike the statement, you will then put choke on that. Okay. So it is time for chew and choke. And
leave us.
If you don't like it, you can choke on
these topics.
I know that's right, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. It's been an interesting little stuff come up the past few weeks. All right, what should we start with? Let's start with at Nia 18. Okay, so this young lady bought herself her own car by herself. So she posted it on Instagram.
She belongs to the streets.
And was like, yo, I bought my own car by myself. Now, that wasn't the controversial part of it. What happened was in the comments. So this young lady says she bought her car. There was people, I guess you could say specifically men as well, that were just like, hey, congratulations. Here are some advice, about your car situation. Make sure you change the oil, keeping up the coolant, oil, all that, blah blah blah. Well, apparently that started a war in the comments.
Oh God.
And
Oh
everyone,
God.
so and then what ended up happening was a lot of women said that that was mansplaining at its finest. So for this young lady to buy her own car, and for people to say congratulations and throw out some car advice, do you think that's mansplaining? If you like that, people came through, gave her advice, you'll hit the chew. If you think like, nah, that's mansplaining, we don't ever do that again, then you'll hit the choke. So go ahead and put in the chat how you feel. Chew if you think it was okay for people to give some advice, some friendly advice on the net. Choke if you think mansplaining was dominant in that situation.
I'm gonna have to chew on that. Bottom line is, women need men. This is a part of the reason why we having this topic tonight. I'm not even gonna get into the topic, but women need men. And if you don't have the humility to take what I say to help for your benefit, then you need to go to your nearest Walmart. You need to walk past the clothing, walk past electronics. You need to go to a section called sporting goods, buy a rifle, and just shoot yourself.
Yo, that shot felt real today. Yeah. Was that fucking more real to anybody than today?
Like he recorded actual shots.
Yo, they shooting all major look.
Yeah, we shooting.
I had to look up. I was like, yo, we popping on shoot.
In the words of Dave Chappelle,
Gotcha, bitch.
Hey, oh my God, I can't believe that came up. Oh, I love this show. All right, I'm definitely gonna go with the chew as well. It is. I was all in good nature. I feel as if actually I think it would have been wrong for men to see a woman and then be like, hey, like this is I can impart. This is something I know. Because actually, if you're withholding that, and let's say she didn't know that information,
Right.
then you'll set her up for disaster.
that's a fact.
And then that's actually not protecting black women.
Woo!
Who raised you?
I'm just saying, if you want to protect black women, it's a lot of aspects. It's a lot of protecting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go to this next one from I Am Kira J. All
Okay.
right, so this one's about a little travel because I still got my little island, little apparel still on.
You got your wagwan.
For real, go on.
Hey,
So-
hold up. I gotta give a shout out to my nephew that's in the building, Chris the Barber, man. He's in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You may not see him on camera, but he in the building. It was my previous co-host, but when life tells you to move forward, Mr. Randy Chew never holds anyone back. I love to see people elevate and do what their heart's desires is. So I just want to give a shout out and some love to my nephew. That's all. Go ahead, Mr. Grandtastic.
No, you good. Okay. What's pop? Chris the Barber? Sounds like a murderer over there. All right, anyways.
That nigga will murder you if you cross him wrong. I'm just saying. I'm talking about Albert Anastasia out this joint. You get clipped in your barber chair.
He said,
He's surgical
like
with the
that.
razor.
I'm surgical with that.
Yeah.
There's that medical reference there for those who do not know.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, follow him on Instagram,
Yes.
unofficial MD. We definitely gonna put it on the lower thirds later on in the show.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Grant.
All right, so here's what the idea of traveling. This one may be split. I don't know how this was going to go. So let's read this. So people who think they're better because they travel internationally are elitist and weird. So I'll read that one more time for those in the back. So this person said, I am Kiara J. People who think they're better because they travel internationally are elitist and weird. How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna choke on that because number one, the reason why you have to pay to travel is because you're under white supremacy. When black people ruled the world, you didn't have to pay to travel. You just traveled. You didn't need a license or a passport. Nigga, you just traveled. So bottom line, if you're holding me to the standards of white supremacy, what does that make you? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Grant. You can answer the rest of that.
Oh my gosh. I was kind of like a 50-50 with this one. Because I think, everyone throws their initial thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
I would think that, I think it's the part of if you think that it makes you better than other people. I love traveling. I mean, internationally, just in the States. I just love traveling, getting.
There was a time that I couldn't afford to travel.
That's facts.
There was a time with me and my family. Let me put the camera back on me.
I'm about to say you've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
The camera has been
There's a time when all my family had was a red couch and a small TV.
Mm-hmm.
We had to smack the joint and put aluminum foil on the antenna and a can of beans in the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't afford to travel. You mean to tell me you better than us? But when we became who we are today, we're giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So you're better than us, but you can travel. But have you really given back to your own people?
And,
anyway, I digress.
And I think that's the perspective of which, like, even kind of helping some of my friends out with their dating profiles, and the first thing they say is like, it's got to be about traveling. I'm like, so that's all you do. That's who you are. Nothing else important about you. To me, I just think that makes you weird. I think that makes you weird if that's your personality. Is I just travel.
Yeah.
You know, like traveling is a great thing to do. It's awesome. But if that's your first thing you can describe yourself, that's kind of weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Elitist. We got to go a little bit, dive a little bit deeper for myself.
Would you rather have your kids' future secure to where they don't have to worry about working for another person? Would you rather travel?
And that's the mindset. Because people want to take their kids to Disney World at 2 to flex. Because like your kid's not gonna remember this, nor can get on the ride.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That to me is like, all right, but that's money that can go towards them down the line. If like, oh, mom, dad, I want to start a business. We spent your money on Disney World when you were 3.
I just want to say this. Shout out to Father's Day, man. For all the real fathers.
Yes,
for all the fathers that stepped up when the biological father dipped out. I want to say this. My stepfather, who I call my father, without the step, because he raised me since I was 5 years old to the man I am today. He's sacrificed and set up to the point where my children don't have to work for nobody. So you know what I'm doing? I'm taking his example and I'm doing it for my grandchildren. So they don't have to work for nobody.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me generational wealth does not exist in the black community. It's just financial literacy.
Yes.
That has not been taught to the black community. Shout out to my father, Antonio Palmer, man. I love you. I appreciate you. You made me the man I am today. And I appreciate it. Shout out to my biological father, too. Randy Curtis Sr. We've built the dynamic relationship in the past 4 or 5 years where I was able to understand myself more better to become a better me.
Yeah.
Shout out to both of them. You know, at the end of the day, the only way that the black community can heal is if we confront our demons and the things of the past to be able to move forward and heal ourselves in the present to make a better future. So shout out to both the men, the one who created me and the one who raised me. That's his bottom line.
Shout out to yourself.
Guess we know the answer to.
Shout out to myself, who's been taking care of 5 little nigglets.
That's for sure. A whole heap.
By the same woman.
How many of y'all can say that?
I'm just saying, my quiver is full. And none of my children feel jealous towards one another about the attention they had from daddy. Just want to throw that out there. Go ahead, Grandtastic.
Happy Father's Day, niggas. All right. All right, great. Awesomeness. So, man, now I feel like I got turned. Let's go to that was such a positive thing. I don't want to like end it on something.
Man, go ahead, man. This is true radio.
All right, let's go to this one. Okay. All right. So here's the statement, y'all. There's no context behind this. This is just full statement.
Okay.
So don't ask. Okay. All right. Since sex got easier to get, love got harder to find.
Woo! I know niggas is gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna choke on that.
Since sex got easier to get, love got harder to find.
You know, I'm just gonna be. See, Randy Chew, the historian, is about to come out because history shows us that it was more sexual activities going on in the past
Yes.
than it is in current time. In fact, um, men were allowed to have multiple wives, even though it wasn't just a sexual thing, but
Correct.
sex was included
Mm-hmm.
because that's how you consummate a marriage. But sex was definitely more prevalent in ancient society than it is now. I just want to throw that historical fact out there. I just want to say that women are a lot more bolder when it comes to wanting hard wood.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Grandtastic.
Indeed, I will.
Time out. I wasn't. Time out. I was not ready for hardwood. I was like, there's so many words and phrases that could have came next.
Whoa.
I was not ready for you to say hardwood at the end of that statement.
Pause.
Nigga, you said it. Don't pause me.
Okay,
All right.
go ahead.
Whew. Oh, since sex got easier to get,
Hardwood doing well.
but that's a good question. Does sex really get easier, or just people just asking for money for it? Like, that's what I don't think sex got easier to get. I just think more people are just asking for the sex inflation occurred.
I think women have more options today than they ever have in the past. That's why sex is easier.
I give you that.
And the old school stigma of slut and whore not hanging the same way it used to.
Yeah, it is. That's awesome.
Ooh. Hey, y'all got my guest talking right now. And listen, you got any more chewing chokes? Oh, we done.
We got one more.
Go ahead, do the one more.
Okay, and then let's hurry up and introduce.
We need to dive into this topic.
We got to dive into it. All right. Actually, I think this one kind of set us up.
I can't leave my lovely guests waiting.
I know. This is actually going to set us up for the topic. So I'm glad I saved
you
this
jiggling, baby. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Oh, my gosh. Did y'all hear about Black Twitter petitioning to cancel Destiny's Child song, Cater to You?
What? No. What?
Yeah, so Black Twitter has petitioned to cancel Destiny's Child song, Cater to You, 17 years later because it is a slave song and women are now bothered by the lyrics. Who raised you? So how y'all feel, Chew Nation? Chew, should we cancel Cater to You? Or is this straight bull jive? If you want to cancel Cater, hit the Chew. If you want, like, nah, and Michelle Williams came on real quick. She was like, y'all better leave this ish alone. Better stop, leave this song alone. So what do y'all think? And let me read a couple comments too.
Go ahead.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, so Michelle said, not y'all trying to cancel Destiny's Child because the men you give the time of day ain't worth a damn. So that's what Michelle said. Somebody said, ironically, black women want to cancel Destiny's Child, Cater to You, but not Bills. So those are just some things and some spice that was in the comments. So what y'all think? What do you think? Should we be canceling Cater to You, or do people got to just get their whole lives together?
Mr. Grantassa, what do you think first?
Oh, Cater to You? No, like that needs to stay. And then it was cemented.
You gotta show the people the sign.
Sorry. Oh hell, chuck on that. No, we gotta keep that.
Okay. And I'm definitely gonna agree with that statement. I'm just gonna go ahead and just
choke on these topics here. And then they cemented it in history when they did the lap dance. On the BET Awards.
I'm gonna say this because unofficial MD, aka Christopher J,
not Christopher Red,
said this. He said they had a song called Soldier, but even soldiers came home to something after war. Let that sink in for a moment.
That's fire.
I just got one question to ask.
Who raised you?
Go ahead, Mr. Grantastic.
Man, I'm just astonished. First of all, I feel like that's really deep. But I think the comment when someone said of only people who want to cancel this song are women who give all their attention to men ain't worth a damn. That's the part I was like, that's what we need to have a
You know what?
conversation about.
You know what I feel about that woman?
What you
She
feel?
belongs to the streets.
Bro, man, I'm telling you, it's real. Like we trying to cancel everything. Everything men do is gay. We gotta cancels Father's Day. They were trying to do that because it's offensive to women, to single mothers and same sex parents. But at that same logic, you won't take that to Mother's Day. That was a thing. That was a hashtag. Hashtag ban Father's Day.
Yeah, it was a hashtag.
I got a question.
And I'm done.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Before we take our quick 2.2 and we invite our special guest, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm gonna save this question for our special guest. We're gonna take a quick 2.2. When we come back, topic, special guest, discussion. It's on and popping. It's your boy, Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that, aka Mr. Succulent Ribs and Back Rubs. We see you after this quick 2.2. It's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that, aka Mr. Quiet Storm, succulent ribs and back rubs. And I just want to say that tonight's show, we have a very special guest. Before I introduce the guest, I want to talk about the topic for tonight's show. What is a strong woman? Also, the subtopic. Let me go ahead and get my yarn and stuff out because you know I do that a lot. How not to castrate your man. An in-depth look at what a real woman is supposed to do. You know, I obviously have Mr. Grantastic, but I have my very special guest, Miss Priscilla Monroe. How you doing, Priscilla?
In the house.
Yes.
I made it. Oh, I made it. To
You
the
made-
shoe show.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me cross my legs and posture myself.
Hot dog. Hot diggity dog. Listen. So I want to make sure that you guys can hear her. So I'm gonna ask my admin team to make sure that she is heard on the show. Could you hear her, Mr. Admin? A little bit more volume. Okay, cool. That's what I need to hear. All right. So, Miss Priscilla Monroe.
Let's
My goodness. Smack your microphone for me one good time. Oh my goodness. That's what I need to hear right there. Okay. So while we getting the volume right, there we go. So, topic before I get into the topic, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about the book that you published. What you've been doing with life. Talk to us.
Oh gosh, how far are we going back? But you know what? I never go so far back that I don't introduce my roots. I'm born and raised in North Carolina. Been here since '92.
Okay.
Raised by two strong parents. Been married 54 years.
Okay.
Same man, same wife. We produced 3 children, and I happen to fall right in the middle.
Okay.
So with me being in the middle,
So you the middle
I'm
child.
the middle child.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
Lord,
dun,
so you
dun,
the one-
dun.
Put the music after
You the
that.
one. You the one with the
That's drum
trouble.
roll. That's the drum roll.
Okay.
Well, you know,
Dun, dun,
reference
dun,
going
dun, dun,
to,
dun.
to birth order.
Okay.
For children, so I happened to fall right in the middle. I was the youngest for 10 years, and then the youngest one came. I have 2 sisters, so no boys. I'm the middle child. So I was raised by 2 strong women, and my 2 strong men, parents. Let's get that straight. We're going to get that real straight. I
Right.
was raised by a man and a wife.
Okay.
A husband and a spouse. So yeah, I ran my North Carolina roots. That's what made part of me being a strong woman, and not that my dad taught me to dominate him with my strength.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But that's where I'm from, North Carolina. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
My dad is a minister. Mom was the first lady. Once a first lady, always a first lady. He just doesn't have a church anymore. So I was also raised as a preacher's kid. So there were titles given to me when I was born and after the fact. And I moved here in '92. So
Wow. Moved here in 92.
'92.
Okay. So tell us about your book.
My book is called Soul Check Motivational Quotes. And if you have lived a certain amount of time, you have gone through something.
Yes.
And during the process, when I was going through one of the most difficult times in my life, I began to just fall back on some quotes that my mom told me, then some quotes that was downloaded in me. And I just started jotting the quotes down. You are great. You are beautiful. You are needed. You are strong. You can do this. You are needed. You are wanted. Your eyes are beautiful. Your thighs are beautiful. You know, men, you are strong. So those quotes during that particular time, they kind of landed me a stable position to just stay right there where I was. Not run from what I was feeling, but stay right there. But then I had an anchor, which was my quotes that I fell back on. So I just started writing the quotes, and then I turned the quotes into like a journal style book. So you have your quotes, you have your lines and spaces, and then you have for you to reflect on because it all falls back on you.
Yes.
Nobody can do it but you. So the quotes are there, the spaces are there for you to actually write down your journal. And so from the book, I started teaching vision board classes, talking to youth, going into community centers, talking to women of domestic violence, also men. So I just leveraged it wherever I saw a platform for that was useful.
Right. And you had a book signing.
I did. I had a book signing.
Okay.
I had a book signing. My book is published by none other than the dynamic Apostle Antonio Palmer.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, we can snap our fingers for that
Yeah.
Yeah, the best publisher you could ask for. But how
For
about
those that I watch, that's my father, by the way. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Shout out to Pops. Mhm.
Yeah.
I actually walked into the cafe at the time by happenstance. I knew someone that worked at the child care center, and I was actually selling jewelry at the time.
Yeah, okay.
So I went to show her my jewelry, promote my jewelry, and at the time she said Apostle was in the cafe, so she took me over to the cafe.
Okay.
She introduced me to First Lady.
Okay. My mother.
Your wonderful mother.
Yeah.
My beautiful pastor.
Yeah.
My beautiful spiritual mom.
Yeah.
Strong prayer warrior. So she introduced me to her.
Okay.
And I told her, I was like, I'm in the process of writing a book. And she said, Priscilla, you need to meet my husband. He's a publisher.
Yeah.
And it went from there.
Wow.
And the relationship went from there.
Wow. Let's give that a round of applause.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Yeah. So, you have an awesome book, by the way, which I have. I have purchased a copy, and I stole a copy.
Thank you very much. At least you're honest.
Yeah, I stole a copy. You know, I had to steal one. You know, I feel privileged that way.
Hey, it's
So, I brung you on this platform tonight because I view you as a real woman.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know that you can bring some strength to the conversation we've been having for months now. For months.
It has been.
It's been for months.
It's been for months.
And I've been trying to get the modern women to understand something.
Okay.
In no shape or form am I saying that men are perfect.
Mhm.
But the perfection of man can only be birthed through a woman. And I'm trying to get women to understand the true power that they possess.
Mhm.
But they've allowed society to make them fight against the man instead of fight for the man. And so one of the questions I have is, what is your definition of a strong woman?
Ooh, how much time do we have? Well, you know, our strength can be displayed in quite a few ways.
Okay.
And it's also a timing and a season that we display our strength.
Okay.
And that's part of what my mother taught me by telling me and my oldest two sisters to stay in your lane and know your lane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that phrase came from. She taught us to stay in your lane.
Grantastic.
Mhm.
She's starting off early.
Already.
She dropping bombs. Stay in your lane.
She taught us.
My goodness.
She told us to stay in. She said there's enough work in your lane for you to do when you stay in your lane.
Oh, shucks.
Whew.
That's what she told us.
Listen, the number, if y'all want to call, then the number to the dial is 516-531-9828. 516-531-9828. If you have a question, a comment, or a statement,
Bring them.
bring up. You see, a real woman don't back down from no challenge.
Bring them.
Bring them. Call in. We want to hear what you got to say, Dag Nabbit. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she taught us that it was a very intentional lesson.
Okay.
Now, granted, at the time that she taught us or told us, I heard it. It didn't quite sink in the way when you start to mature that it needs to sink in. But I never forgot it.
Wow.
Oh, I
Okay.
never forgot it. And when I
Okay.
stepped out of my place with her, she told me to stay in my lane.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
she used it when it was applicable, whether it was male related or female
Right,
related.
right,
Yeah, when I stepped out of my lane with her,
Yeah.
and she smacked me upside my head and reset me for life.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
See, Mama know it when listen.
Oh,
a lot of people think my mom was a thug. You understand me? My mom would bust me upside my head if I crossed it wrong. You understand me?
Mhm.
But and that's what's missing. I remember my mother doing a lecture on I believe it was Mother's Day, when she talked about the voice of the mothers.
Oh
that
yes,
sucked
Mother's
out.
Day. Yes,
You
dynamic message.
you have a lot of moms and grandmothers that's still in the club,
Yes.
Mhm.
and they're supposed to be coaching their daughters, but they still in the club. I have a question. Well, before I ask this next question, Mr. Grant Taxi, you want anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just taking it in, and then I'm writing stuff down because I take notes. So
Yeah,
I'm writing
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
down. Keep
yeah.
going. Go ahead, sir.
So the topic I want to touch on, well, first of all, let me say this. Miss Priscilla Monroe, you've been through your own personal battles and struggles. Is there anything that you've been through that you want to share to the audience of women that may go back and listen to this show? What you've been through and how you've overcame. I don't want to share your story. I want you to express whatever you feel like is necessary.
Absolutely, and I don't have a problem sharing this because my two daughters know about this.
Okay.
I don't ever speak on topics that they don't know about
Okay.
because it's a family matter.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm raising two teenagers, and it's a sensitive family matter.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about cars with teenagers, it's a time into everything. When you talk, Mom, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said this. But when I was going through my divorce, when I had to make the decision, listen to me, make the decision
Mm-hmm.
to depart my marriage from the father of my two children, the hardest decision of my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Gut wrenching. But the one thing that I heard God tell me,
Mm-hmm.
He said, Priscilla, you have to do it my way.
Mm.
Where is a hammer? Where is a knife? Where? Yes.
Yeah.
When He said
Yeah.
that, you talking to me? I knew He had the wrong Priscilla. He was talking about Priscilla Presley, the
Yeah,
person I was
yeah.
actually named after because
Yeah.
my parents weren't saved. I'm like, Priscilla Presley, first she white and then she's not in the Bible, so what? But anyway,
Yeah.
That's a little sidebar history. I was named after her. My parents weren't saved. My dad said we weren't saved at the time. I was like, okay, Dad.
It is a Priscilla Bible.
Yeah, right. But he didn't reference to her when I was there. There's a Priscilla in the Bible, yes. So, Randy, that particular the audience, that was the most challenging thing I had to hear and listen to.
Okay.
Because
okay.
if I had done it my way,
Uh-huh.
that I would have needed the knives, the hammer, and some other things that I won't say on the show.
Right.
But
You say whatever you want on this.
but I had to.
Yeah, you was about to
No,
straighten the deal.
I ain't doing no high
Yeah.
Chris because they might have bounced back on me. I was going for the straight Uzi
Yeah,
and
yeah,
needed
yeah.
to make some phone calls. But
Oh
I was
my
required-
goodness. You was
I was required
Yeah,
to
yeah.
handle it from A to B to C to D
Uh-huh.
per the instructions the way God gave it to me.
Okay.
That was the most challenging thing that I've ever done, which required me to stay in my lane.
Yeah.
And this, hear me now, this isn't about male bashing. This is
Right.
about a person having their rights and not having their rights taken from them.
Okay. Talk to us.
So
Yeah.
that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So that was the most challenging thing, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
I had to do it. And in the same statement, I still chose to honor him.
Wow.
The father of my
Wow.
two children.
Wow.
Because it was more important for me to set the example for my two daughters than anything else. Because
Right.
I can handle the other stuff.
Yeah.
Come at me. I can handle that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got you on that.
Yeah.
But I had to. take a stance on how I wanted them to see me. Not that everything was perfect, because you know nothing is perfect, and I
Right.
never wanted to display myself as being perfect. But there's a way you handle things,
Right.
When
Yeah.
when it's a subject matter such as that.
Yeah.
No, that's very true.
Yeah, yeah. Because remember,
Yeah.
all eyes are on you. And when someone's out to get you, they jotting down everything
you
dotted
doing?
I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you bring me to a very important subtopic that I want to dive into.
Come on, let's dive.
How not to castrate your man. How not to, and before I get into the totality of what I'm saying, let me give some definitions for a moment.
Or a term you can chew on.
Yes, let me give you a term
I like that.
you can chew on. I want to start with castrate. It means, obviously, we know it means to remove the testicles of a male. But the second definition is to deprive of power, validity, or vigor. To deprive of power, validity, or vigor. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep doing it. I'm gonna move on to power. The second definition of the word power is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others.
Read that one more time for those in the back.
The capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. So if castrate means to deprive of power, you are depriving someone of their capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. The last word I want to define is the word abuse. There's three definitions to the word abuse I want to bring up. Use to the bad effect for a bad purpose or misuse. Second definition, to treat with cruelty or violence on a regular or repeated occasion. The improper use of something. I'm going to throw this discussion topic out, and I'm going to allow Miss Priscilla, Monroe, and then Grandtastic to respond. Can significant others give each other a severe case of PTSD from verbal or emotional abuse?
Read that one more time for those in the back. Right, read that one for those in the back.
Can significant others give each other a severe case of PTSD from verbal or emotional abuse? Miss Priscilla Monroe, then Mr. Grandtastic.
Okay, I'll go first. Absolutely. Yes, in case you didn't understand that. Most definitely. Show enough.
Yeah.
Show you right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to take it back to my roots, and I didn't put this plug in, but I'm going to go ahead and put this plug in.
Okay.
I also co-authored a book called A Maryland Girl, a North Carolina Girl Living in a Maryland World.
Wow.
I'm co-author of that book. I'll bring it the next time.
Okay.
And I referenced that back to my mother.
Okay.
My mother can walk into a room. Her grace and ambiance will capture the audience. She doesn't have to say anything. But with that said,
kind of like you.
Yeah, I worked hard to get this way. I wasn't always.
Jesus, my Lord, have mercy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. She can do it both ways.
Yeah.
But if you ever see her walk against your conversation, that's when you become scared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not always words
Yes.
that can actually tear down, especially a man.
Mhm.
Y'all don't like to see us walk away, especially the one you got your eyes on. Where you going, woman? Don't walk away from me.
Yes, talk to
you
us.
want to see our backside, but not in a controversial way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's not what y'all
We
like.
want to see them hind parts in a good
In
situation.
a good situation.
Yeah.
And we just
Yeah.
keeping it real.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when two people are in a heated conversation and we do walk away, or we choose to let our mouth and the words that come from our mouth tear you down,
Oh my
tear
Jesus.
y'all down.
Oh my Jesus.
It's better for us to walk away.
Mm.
And you know, I'm not going scripture on you, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bible says it's better for a what woman to
Yeah.
be where?
Yeah. Yeah.
On
Talk.
top of the roof
Yes.
than to be at y'all.
Yeah.
Nagging,
Yeah.
nitpicking.
Nagging. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's in Proverbs, by the way, for those who
That
don't know
reference
where.
point is back in Proverbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So she taught us how to be graceful with our words. And when she smacked the heck out of me one day when I was in the bathroom because I said too much, that reset me.
Mm-hmm.
It reset me for life. I didn't know I was going to need it in the relationships I was going to be in, but it taught me a lesson. There's a time to say what you need to say and how you need to say it, and there's a time to be quiet.
Right. Right. Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we have the power through our mouth to build you all up, to continue to present you all as kings as you are,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether you're wearing the crown or not,
Mm.
visible or invisible. Y'all
Mm.
have it. Y'all have a stance when you walk into the room, and if you don't, check your stance.
Mm.
If you know that your stance isn't the way it's supposed to be, check it, because there's something that you are carrying on you and you haven't gotten out for you, or you need to have it to be massaged on you.
Mm.
Check your stance. Check
What-
your
what
stance.
did you just say?
She said massage.
Massage. Y'all carry the weight of the
Succulent ribs
world
and back rubs.
on you. So
Oh
y'all
my
need that
Lord.
massage off of you on a daily basis.
Jesus,
And there are
my
multiple
Lord.
ways to do that. We
Food.
can be by the look.
We might have to
By
end
our
this show early
tone.
tonight.
There are multiple ways. We can have your dinner ready for you.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
But the
You
one,
sound like cater to you over there.
oh, we gonna cater to you.
Wait
And I
a
don't know
minute.
who came up. Who in the world did you? Did
That
you-
wasn't me. No,
No,
I
no,
found
wait a
on
minute.
internet. She was like, "Is it you?" No,
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
say cater.
I
Bam,
wasn't gonna
cater.
say. Did you do your research on who actually said that statement?
No, it
Because
just
I wanna
started
know if
from Black Twitter, which you can take as if it actually is Black Twitter or not. But
Okay.
we won't dive into that deep.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
only diving into that deep because of the word cater.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we should cater to you all.
Mhm.
Oh
You
my
are
God.
supposed to be catered to,
Mhm.
Lord have mercy.
not on a once a month basis, on an as needed basis. As needed. As needed. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the right man that's with
Isn't
the
that all like
woman
medicine
will
bottles, like, take 2
understand
to 3 times a
when we
day
may be a little
as
tired
needed?
ourselves. But it's
That's needed.
it's
That's
as
right.
needed.
It's as needed.
And
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Because y'all don't know how to wait sometimes.
Yeah, we
Wait
don't.
for what? Who said that in the movie? Love Jones.
Yeah, yeah,
What's his
yeah.
name?
I forgot his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Lorenz Tate. He said, "What am I waiting for?
Right,
What
right.
am I waiting for?"
Right. So, okay, Grant has to go ahead before I dive into.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I know it's a lot of women, modern women right now, that's going to be watching this show that are going to be disappointed in themselves. But go ahead.
Mhm. Okay, so when I think about what was it? It's just like give each other severe case of PTSD, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my first thing was always to the give or do you accept? That was my first mindset, right? Because it's like, especially when we're thinking about like abuse,
Okay.
there's people who are giving out that whole thing, right? And what you said, to use to bad effect, treat with cruelty and violence repeatedly, right? So there's always a possibility of people handing that out. But then someone like told me years ago of just like, but they asked me like, what are the things that you accepting as people are giving? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was like, abusive relationship has 2 parts. There's a giver and then there's an acceptor. And that's also the thing. It was like, so as well as yes, I can dish out this bad behavior,
Mhm.
but are you going to stay around to
Yo,
accept
yeah,
this
yeah,
bad
That's
behavior?
yeah.
And I never thought of it because it's
Yo,
always the
Grandtastic,
perspective.
I'm not gonna cap. Christopher J just text me what you just said literally.
Oh, for real?
But go ahead, keep talking.
Maybe that might have been him, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yo, you know what I mean?
Give it a little second.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But go ahead.
But no, but it's really along the lines of if someone is handing out free candy, you have to walk up and accept it. You don't know what's in the candy.
Ooh.
That's like Halloween where everyone's like, you always gotta check your candy. They're always giving it out.
Yeah.
But you still gotta check what is the intentions behind this behavior. So I do agree. I do think people can give PTSD from the abuse, but I also, and then this is from Zoe because this is the relationship you're dealing with that you got to learn something from. But why are you accepting this behavior, not from just this individual? Because sometimes it is once and you learn, but there's some people who it happens more than once.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think sometimes, like, yes, we got to call out the abusers, but then we
Absolutely.
also have to ask ourselves, why are we still hanging around this abusive, culture, this abusive environment? Why don't we leave? And so I do agree. I do think that PTSD is a real part of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, I think we got to ask ourselves, why are we staying when we know this is an abusive environment?
If we gonna quote the big bro, we got to say this specific thing.
Go ahead.
Big bro Zoe Williams teaches in all of his books that the relationship itself, not the individual, but the relationship is a reflection of you.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's a reflection of your internal struggle.
Yes.
It's what your subconscious is trying to get your conscience to identify to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask this question to you guys, and I know this is gonna. First of all, Priscilla Monroe said some things that, as a man, to hear from a woman is just tremendous. Number one, and she talked about catering to the man, where it's not looked at as an obligation,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
but it's looked at as a righteous duty,
Mhm.
as something that is honorable. And I think a lot of beta males have ruined it for us alphas.
I can agree with that.
I believe that
I
a
can
lot
agree
of
with
beta
that.
males have misused the woman
Yes.
to the point where when she get a real nigga,
Yeah.
she don't want to do that stuff because she's been abused so much.
She
Mhm.
tired.
She tired, and we have to mold and walk her through her healing in order to get that. And sometimes some alphas give up during that process
Correct.
Absolutely.
because as an alpha male, you just certain things you don't want to tolerate.
Mm.
And that's understandable because men are the alphas. They're not supposed to tolerate certain things. But for us who have a certain understanding of the function of the woman, is able to walk her through her evolution.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question. Which form of abuse is higher in relationships? Verbal or physical? Mr. Grantastic and then Priscilla Monroe.
You mean documented or just like in relationships?
Both.
Because I think documented of like what you look at police reports would be physical, but I think emotional is like the day-to-day, probably most common, because that's along the lines of manipulation and also tackling the issues that person may already have from either previous relationships or their parents, and they kind of just take that.
She
and use
belongs
that.
to the streets.
So that's why I think on documentation on papers, it's going to be physical. I think in everyday relationships, I think emotional is higher.
Priscilla Monroe.
I definitely agree with him on exactly what he has said,
Mhm.
but let me tap into the emotional aspect of it
Okay.
because there are so many levels of the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
It could be financial abuse. It could be sexual abuse. It could be verbal abuse.
Yeah.
So you have different levels that are non-visible to the eye when it comes to the emotional.
Hold on.
abuse.
Let me get you to chime in on something. You said financial abuse.
Financial
Explain
Yeah,
that.
you got to break that down.
Financial abuse falls under the umbrella of control.
Mhm.
Wow.
When people, and I'm saying people because we're not gonna gender relate it.
Yeah.
When people, because women, we have power, and men, you have power through finances as well.
Yeah.
But when you choose to control it and intentionally abuse it to the opposite sex, that's emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Example, honey, I want to go back buy a pair of shoes. That's what she says just because that's how she's saying it to him. She's
Mhm.
not asking for permission, she's telling him.
Mm-hmm.
He says to her, you don't need another pair of shoes.
Mm.
You just bought a pair 4 months ago. You see me snap my neck back, right?
Mhm.
Right.
To
Right.
a
Right.
woman 4 months ago buying a pair of shoes and then
Mm-hmm.
withholding the money from her to not be able to go get the shoes.
Wow.
Even if she don't communicate it to him just for the financial purpose of keeping the
Right.
record straight.
Now, in context, we're talking about a woman who's holding down her position.
We're
not talking
we're talking
about-
about healthy
Yeah. Yeah.
relationships.
Healthy relationship.
and
Yeah.
then
Go ahead.
we're talking from an aspect of healthy relationships.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
then all of a sudden, creep, creep, creep in the back door, there's an element of control that comes in because the woman is on a rise in her position and every man can't handle it. So he
Yeah.
starts to put a little twist on things to control certain aspects
Yeah.
of the relationship, hence the money part, which is probably one of the main reasons that people do it. It's because it's the easiest thing to do and not be seen.
Right.
And
Right.
it's one of the most detrimental things to do to a person, not afford them their natural given rights and wants and needs.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. So
I feel like that's its own topic in its own.
It is.
You know,
It
like,
is.
really
It is.
And before we deviate from that, for anyone who's going through any type of abuse or feel as if you are, you can always contact your local YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put the number in one of the chats, or
Yeah.
we'll put that in. You can contact the YMCA, call them, make an appointment with them, set up with a licensed counselor to assess your situation.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way, to assess your situation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we second guess ourselves
Mhm.
to think, is this what I'm really going through?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can have a professional therapist help you analyze and give you the resources and equipment that you need.
And I just want to point out something that is so significant right now is the audience is going to be aware of how quiet and observant the men in the room are when a real woman speaks.
Mm.
You notice there's no backlash.
Yeah.
There's no going back and forth.
Nope.
There's no sign of disagreement or disrespect, or I have been offended, or you have been dismissed. There is a calm, casual conversation, because when a real woman steps into the room, she knows how to control the atmosphere that the man walks in. This is why a help meet is supposed to be a home maker. You make the environment in which the home is established. You're not the foundation, but you're that which lays on the foundation and controls the environment. So when the man comes home, the energy he feels walking through the door is the energy he's going to push forward while he's home. If you're frustrated and agitated and yelling and harping and complaining, but you're not being thankful, not showing gratitude, not walking in humility and just because, and me and Miss Priscilla Monroe has had this conversation before. Women are the ones who have the true power in the home.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say this for the listening audience: pussy rules the world. And
So
if you
it's
don't,
not girls, it's just pussy. Is that was a Beyonce reference? I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Okay.
Beyonce can kick rocks.
He's right.
Who run
If
the
you
world?
know, if
Puss.
you knew how to
Who run the
handle
Real talk.
what God has given you to your advantage, you would never feel overpowered by a man. You would feel empowered by a man. Am I right, Miss Priscilla?
You are 100%. I need a sign for that. 100% correct.
Yeah.
We're going to chew on that. That's what we're
That's
going
right.
to do. We're
Yeah.
going to chew on that.
Yeah.
We are going
That's
to chew on that. So
Yeah.
you are 100% right. And
She
just like
gets
he
it,
referenced
y'all.
point,
She gets it.
he
Yeah.
referenced point to the atmosphere. It's peaceful in here. And
Wow.
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And it's peaceful. We got the fans blowing. You can imagine yourself on the beach just chilling. That's how your home should be.
Yes,
And it
boy.
really is. But both gender, female and male.
Quiet storm.
Yes.
Succulent ribs and back rubs. Listen, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 2.2 minute break. When we come back, we're going to continue the dialogue. It's your boy, Randy Chew, a.k.a. Mr. Chew on that, a.k.a. Mr. Smack Your Great-Great-Grandmother. We're going to take a quick 2.2. When we come back, we're going to continue on the topic. Deuces. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that. And tonight's topic has been tremendous. It's what is a strong woman and how not to castrate your man. And I am here with my other host.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Mr. Grantastic, aka the Professor, aka Negro Suave, aka Smooth Criminal, aka Chihuahua on season 2. Alright, Jesus.
And I have my special guest for tonight's show, Miss Priscilla Monroe. Say hi to the people.
We are back. Welcome back. We forgot to tell you, invite your friends. It's not too late.
Yeah. So listen, I got a few more questions to ask before the end of the show. When it comes to verbal abuse, who do you guys think holds the highest percentage in verbal abuse, men or women?
Can I just say for the fact, I really do hate you, because as you were asking that question, I was writing down a similar question to that.
Yours.
Oh, snap, crackle, and all kinds of piss up. I'm sorry, read it again, because I was like writing. I was like, this Negro's asking the question. I'm writing. What was your question?
Who do you guys think holds the highest percentage in verbal abuse? Men or women?
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead, Grantastic, then Priscilla Monroe.
Ad, you know something? I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Women. And I'm gonna, in my opinion, women, and it's not close. Like, I'm gonna just say it. If I'm the villain, that's cool. And the reason why I am saying that is because, so the question I was actually wrote down was, how do you know if women are actually verbally abusing men? Because I think we're used to it more. I was having a conversation with some friends today, and what we were talking about with their brother and their wife, and how like we just don't like their verbal exchange, and we're like, she's always trying to disrespect them in public. That's verbal abuse.
Wow.
But we don't call it that, right? So for us, we say like, yo, she was just being disrespectful. But like we're talking together like, yo, we always see her being verbally disrespectful in public, not in private. We talking about you trying to break this brother down in front of all the family and the homies and his father and his children. Right. So I was like,
public castration.
Public castration.
Yes.
Like that, and that's the reason why I will say it's women.
PC.
Yeah, PC. Because it's like, so men will just yell and get loud, but a woman be like, your mama be standing there and be like, that's why you still piss in the bed. And there's nothing else you can say.
Right, yeah. Like, wow.
Who is that?
Wow.
You just got the face like, well, no, it's Kevin Hart. Like, you just, you looking dumb. Because like a woman will know something intimate about you and then use that against you in front of your friends.
Let her be mad. It's coming out.
It's coming out.
It's like the drunk fisherman. You're gonna get all the stories.
You're gonna get all of it. And you see that more.
You heard that.
In my experience, you see that more with women, like in intimate relationships. Now I see that more with men when I'm trying to holler at you and you say no. And I'm like, oh girl, well you ain't blah 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 blah. I see that a lot.
Yeah, that goofy nigga that shot at the girls that because they rejected him.
Exactly.
That nigga's goofy.
Goofy is a
he
vibe.
even shot himself. But go ahead.
But that's what I'm saying. So I see it in that moment. But in intimate relationships, when things are heated and it's like, all right, we should talk about this at home. The person who will let out personal information about that individual to hurt them, man, my experience has been women. So that's the only reason why I will go there, and I will say it's not even close.
Priscilla Monroe.
Well,
and you can disagree.
I can.
Please do. Please feel free to disagree. I'm just saying in my experience.
I agree with you, but let me put a twist on it. Documented is men. Undocumented is women.
Okay. I love how we have that.
I agree with you because documented, you guys, unfortunately, are always targeted based on anything we say that can be potentially illegal
Ooh.
that goes
Yeah.
documented.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
documented,
Mhm.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Undocumented, I know for a fact, I agree exactly with what you just said in terms of the example, especially if we got a little chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we
my
didn't
goodness.
we did not deal with the chip at home.
Mhm.
You can best believe somewhere in public,
Somewhere.
it might not come out verbally, but it's gonna come out through our body language as well.
Mhm.
Oh, y'all got problems at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
Gotcha, bitch.
Because if we can be real, there's no argument where a guy is talking to his girl and be like, "Well, that's why your vagina trash." Like, that's never going to happen. But there's always a
Never,
moment
'cause y'all ain't gonna
where a
say that.
woman will just be like, "Oh, you think you got me? Well, that's why your dick little." And then he got to look around at all his people and then be like, "Girl, stop playing. Girl, stop playing. You know I'll be laying it down." And like stuff like that happens, and that's the point where my question was like, how do we know what verbal abuse looks like when it's in women? Because I don't think we ever acknowledge that.
I think verbal abuse, when it comes from women, is anytime a woman speaks with the intention
Mm-hmm.
to destroy the words of her man.
Mm.
Even if you have a disagreement at a moment, you save that for when you in the house. You never challenge your man in public. I've never seen my mother challenge the man that raised me in public.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her stand up to him in private, and I've seen his response, and I've witnessed her response. But I have never seen her challenge him in front of the public.
Mm-hmm.
And to a man, that is more honorable and respectful that you respect me in public and challenge me in private. In fact, let's dive a little deeper. You can't be my brother if you disrespect me in public.
Oh no.
Number one, I'm too violent for that. I'll punch a nigga in the mouth, whether I feel like I'm gonna win the fight or not. I'll punch you in your mouth if you disrespect me in public. My whole circle, because family is who you make it. Relatives is who God gave you.
Exactly.
I got family that's closer than relatives. And I got family that I've had disagreements with, that if I had disagreements with relatives, it could have turned violent.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's niggas in this room right now that I've had disagreements with, that because we were family, it didn't turn violent. We've stood up to each other. We've challenged one another. I'm talking big bro right there. There's times when me and him challenged each other to man up on some stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the man up of, oh, you a punk. It's a man up of, I know your character. You're better than that.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm going to challenge you to go higher because I seen you walk that path before. It wasn't degrading or condescending.
Yeah.
It was a call to go higher.
Exactly.
And women have to learn, modern women have to learn, because Miss Priscilla Monroe has been through some things.
Oh, absolutely.
And from my opinion, and I don't care what nigga like it or not, you see me pull up. She been with some beta males. Pull up on me. You got a problem.
Got a problem.
And trust me, I know your address, so you don't want to pull up.
Got a
You-
problem.
But she been with some beta males who
Disguise themselves as alpha males? Is
who
that what- or
try
try
to
to disguise themselves?
yeah. And what happens is
That's the next pandemic, I believe.
That's the current one.
let me say it like this. Simba Mama know the difference between Mufasa and Scar.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
Exactly.
Ladies, you need to watch Lion King again, ladies.
Right. Watch it again. Put it on replay for a couple times.
Watch Lion King
You and that.
again. Because Scar took over and she was like,
And
You ain't
I'm
nothing.
gonna say this. and I'm not gonna give too much details, but if your woman or your ex-woman gotta come to me when she's traveling and make sure she all right, you a beta male.
Beta male.
Tell it.
Well, and a lot of times you will see the character of a beta male come out when you see the poise of a woman rising.
Mm.
And you have to know how to leverage that.
Yeah.
And they probably were beta males or alpha males to some women.
Yeah, to some women.
Some women.
So that's a little bit lower on the podium?
Yeah.
Could have been lower on the podium.
Little, okay.
And that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then
they were alpha males to peasants.
Peasants. We can use that to peasants.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, though. I love that. Can we just stop in there?
Yeah. Thank you.
They were alpha males to peasants.
But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Well, this is a three-way conversation. This is good.
Yeah.
It needs to be heard, not because we're right, it's because we have learned some things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I am right with some things. Let me I'm gonna own that and say that. I am right about some things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right about how men should be treated. I'm also right when I have to say to myself, okay, I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I apologize.
Wait. Hold up.
I'm sorry.
As a woman,
I'm so with you.
hold on. This is a moment. As a woman, you actually apologize?
Absolutely.
Yo, can I just be real?
Raised you.
I just sat and like really legit just thought real quick. I was like, I've only heard an apology for 2 women, and I married one of them.
There you go.
My
Facts.
whole entire life, I've only ever heard an apology from 2 women,
Talk.
and one of them I married.
Yeah.
I just thought, I was like, yo, I think I've never heard a woman apologize to me for hurting me. And then actually, matter of fact, let me not talk. Let me stop, because you already know where I'm going with it. Never mind. Let me
No. Say it, and then we're gonna throw it back to Miss Priscilla.
No, it's just because of right now, it's a lot of women have been asking for men to be more transparent with their emotions.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
So men are trying to do that, and it's not a natural progression because we haven't been taught that. Correct. So we're trying to be more transparent with our emotions and our feelings. However, these, as you would state, these peasant young ladies. So if I actually become, well, I would say more vulnerable, because I'm trying to figure out if you're going to attack me or not if I give you this part of me.
Right.
So because we were breaking down, remember that last week we were breaking that down. So transparency,
Right.
vulnerability. So there's a lot of men
Absolutely.
trying to be vulnerable and trying to like gauge the women, like, all right, how are you going to respond to me being vulnerable? And a lot of us have been met with, like, I actually really don't care how you feel. Like, I'm asking you to give me this intimacy of of transparency, but when you give it to me, I'm like, nah, I don't really care about how you feel. And then you're for a man, you're like, all right, well, I'm trying to be vulnerable with you. I'm meeting resistance. What's the point of me even caring about trying to be transparent with you now? And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of men that are trying to actually get deeper in their intimate relationships, and they're meeting resistance. But I think the part a lot of people don't want to really talk about, that accountability, is when women refuse to allow a man to be transparent with them and actually care about their emotions. What's going to happen because of that? Not even just now, but down the road.
That you just open up an entire chapter of a book that we can dialogue about. But I am going to reference point to what you said about the woman wanting a man to be vulnerable. And then you said, for what? So, did you ask her? Or did anyone ask the question, why do you want to know my feelings?
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to know my feelings on this? And that will open up another conversation, because there are times, and I'm speaking from Priscilla, no one else. There are times that verbally I may want to hear some words, and then there are times I don't need words to be said.
Wow.
But if I'm coming from the hair salon and I got a new do, it's all laid to the side, however I chose for that preference of that hairstyle.
Mhm.
I do want you to say, oh, you looking fly, you looking beautiful,
Wow.
you looking.
Yeah.
And then there are times that, guess what? I may be allowing my emotions to carry me places that don't need to season the atmosphere that we're in, that words don't need to be said.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because we have a lot of facets within us.
Yeah.
We have a lot of levels, a lot of layers.
Yeah.
You can start from 15, you go to 30, you go to 35 and 40 and 45. You get to 50. Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah.
And men have to understand those levels of a woman, but there are times words don't need to be said.
So
The presence of a man's strength dominates words all the time.
So can I ask a real woman a question?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think that the line is drawn between tough love and constructive criticism and verbal abuse when it comes to a woman talking to a man?
When it comes to a woman talking to a man.
So, as a woman, give me an example of what tough love or constructive criticism looks like to a man versus verbal abuse.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
And we can role play if you need to.
No, I got one for you.
You're jiggling,
sorry,
baby.
for the notes, is this 3 different? Are we talking about tough love and constructive criticism?
Tough love
are different or together?
No. Tough love and constructive criticism are the same thing.
Because we're talking to like 2021 people. They don't see that as the same. So
Yeah, it should
for
be
the audience. I just wanted to clear that
elevate
up.
themselves. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
tough love can be constructive criticism. People.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my job as an educator to break that down. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all
Yeah.
talk. Y'all talk.
So tough love.
We got you.
Tough love, constructive criticism versus verbal abuse. What does that look like? So, Miss Priscilla Monroe, give an example using me. That you would say is tough love or constructive criticism versus what it would look like as verbal abuse.
Should we give a situation, or do you just want to go?
No. I want her to.
Right,
I want her to handle that. Yeah, we need a real woman to handle this one.
We are going to an event.
Okay.
I don't have all the details on the event, but I know we're supposed to be at this event.
Okay.
And it's a pretty important event. You are asked to be there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And at this event, people are dressed in a semi-business versus casual.
Okay.
You come casual.
Okay.
You do what you need to do. Later on at home, I said, babe, you know the event that we was at, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, yes. I said, that wasn't the time for you to be casual, because at that particular event, people need to see you in a different atmosphere based on your attire.
Mm-hmm.
Because you needed to dress for the occasion,
mm-hmm.
and not your comfortability.
Okay.
So what I could have done was, what I could have said to you was, babe, why are you gonna look sloppy all the time? Why didn't you think about where we were going?
Yeah.
You can't even think outside the box that you're just gonna wear anything. I can just throw it out there.
Right.
Versus, babe, next time let's kind of dialect about the event that you are going to.
Lord Jesus.
So I can make sure, if you have a particular suit that you want to wear, that it is clean, that is there for you.
Yeah.
And I need to go get it from the cleaners.
Yeah.
So I'll lay it out for you.
Is there a ring on that finger?
It's not.
My Lord Jesus.
So I say that an example because I could have easily humiliated your pride based on the words that I chose to say versus the example.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And it also, next time, it gives me a chance to kind of look at the occasion myself and have it all ready for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And have choices.
Woo!
Maybe I put the blue suit on.
Because what the woman is doing is wanting to make sure that her man is highlighted at all times, whether it's his stance, his outfit
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
opportunity he's going to put himself in,
Mm-hmm.
that you are always ready.
Yes. But
Nothing wrong with being casual.
Shucks.
I like the casual
Mm-hmm.
look. But if there's
Shucks.
a time that you
There's
elevate,
times and a place.
yeah. And not just a time and a place, there's a time that you want to present yourself, whether you're required to or not.
Mm-hmm.
And now I understand why the Egyptians named the throne after a woman.
It's named after a woman.
yes.
Bruh. Because a woman's job is to build up the man. That's what you're really getting at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A woman's job is really to build up the man and not tear the man down. And I'm talking about a man that's there for her, and also a man that's willing to make changes as well as the woman. In a
Mhm.
relationship, you're not going to stay the same. You're always going to need to elevate, grow, have mentors. My parents have been married 54 years.
Okay.
And one day I looked at my mom. I said, Mom, do you ever get tired of looking at him? She said, No, I get frustrated with him. I said, What do you do when you get frustrated? She said, I go in my room. I may read for a while. She said, But I don't want him dead or anything like that.
Right.
What she said to me in that sentence was, I love him enough even when I'm not in agreement with him.
Right.
And
Right.
they've been together since they were 16 and 18.
Oh man.
Wow.
And everyone's success story is not like that. Mine isn't, but I own my stuff.
Right.
And I'm not,
Right.
I'm proud
Well,
of.
he was with a beta male.
Exactly.
I mean, nigga can't beat me, so I'm gonna say what I want to say.
I'm gonna say what I want to
Bottom
say.
line, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And it happens not just in females. It happens. The male think he can say whatever he wants to say to the woman in public too. To that, because that happened to
Correct.
me.
And I'm a big proponent of respecting each other in public.
Mhm.
Even when I feel disrespected, I will never disrespect in public.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes a lot of meekness
Mhm.
to walk that line. I think women of today's society have lost their gentleness when it comes to I feel like the gentleness of a woman can get a man to, how can I say it? A woman should know the power that they possess enough to manipulate the man and to behave in the way that they want them to behave.
Absolutely.
And they've lost that manipulation.
And if she doesn't know, ask somebody.
Yeah. Actually, that's what grandmothers and mothers and big mamas and mentors and all that is for.
I have three. I have a tribe around me.
Okay.
I got a dynamite tribe around me. I have a mama,
Mm-hmm.
Veronica Lipscomb.
Okay.
I have a big mama,
Mm-hmm.
which is my girlfriend's mother. She's known me for 45 years.
Okay.
And I have a spiritual mom.
Okay.
I'm covered under my spiritual mom under
Okay.
KCC.
Is that my mom? Not my mama.
That's your mom.
Yeah.
That's your mom.
Yeah.
That's Pastor Barbara Palmer. I have
Yeah.
a spiritual mom.
Yeah.
I have three dynamic women.
Yeah.
Only three women can yank me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only three women can yank me.
Yeah.
And pull me back to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Reposition me.
Mm-hmm.
To tell me. And every woman needs that.
Yeah.
You were wrong.
Wow.
So you need to stop. Look and give you a look.
Take notes, women. So women
absolutely.
need mentorship.
I don't really
Women.
think a lot of women have that.
Well, you
And-
gotta
and a lot
want
of
it.
young-
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I know you said you gotta want it, but I'm talking about even in like the natural. So as an educator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see the behind the scenes of the families when we meet the parents, right? Because
Absolutely.
it always comes out in the parent teacher conference. I don't know why. All their drama always does. The one thing I have learned, especially as in coaching like girls soccer, coaching girls basketball at high school and middle school, and dealing and mentoring young women, I've learned there's nobody telling these young ladies anything. Cause like I'll make a joke and be like, "Hey, like don't be letting that little boy buy you Burger King." And they're like, "He's only buying me Burger King for what?" And I'm like, "Didn't your mama talk to you about like watching out for this?" They're like, "No." So like a lot of young girls, their mothers, their grandmothers, they don't like you said. You have three. I'm learning more. A lot of these young ladies don't have anybody that's telling them anything besides "get your money, girl." That's honestly, that's pretty much as far as it goes from what I've experienced mentoring young women.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm realizing like that's a really dangerous thing when you have no one around you. Like you said, you have 3 people to yank you. They don't have anyone that has the ability to yank them and actually give them something positive. It's more
yank
like
them and love them at the same time.
yank them and love them. So that like for them, it's just more or less of just like I'm just saying stuff that I hear from Megan Thee Stallion song or the City Girls.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't have any really like solid advice from other women as well. And I think that's what's really kind of polarizing the issues where everyone's focusing on women right now, because there's women that are either not imparting into these young ladies, or there's a whole bunch of women that's like, I don't need to listen to you. I'll figure it out via Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, and Cardi B.
Because unfortunately, those society has set it up where those are the examples that they see more.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna put it back on parents. We as parents, we don't monitor how much of that stuff they are seeing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's dominating their ear gate, their eyes, because that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And I want to reference point back to what we were talking about. I have 3 examples now, but I also had another example. My grandmother didn't pass until she was 95.
Wow.
And my grandmother raised me co-parented with my mom. If my mom wasn't there working with my grandmother was there. She was 95.
Okay.
Always dominating in my life, always there.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Some of that is missing.
Yeah.
A lot of that is missing. We all have a lot of work to do, whether we are CEO of this women's group. I was a former
men and women.
Men and women.
We have a lot of work to do, and it is our responsibility to never give up.
Yeah. And I say that because men need to be held accountable. Certain men need to be held accountable to a certain standard. I feel like
absolutely.
I feel like men that are striving to that mark need to be given grace to evolve.
Yeah.
But men that are procrastinating, that act like they want to be at a certain status but they're not, they need to be the ones that are held accountable for their actions. And a lot of times men say things and behave a certain way and their intentions are pure, but they fail. And I think a real woman understands the difference between a faker and someone who just fell at a moment.
There's always a lot of room to accept a sincere apology.
Wow. Yeah.
There is always there should always be a lot of room for a sincere apology.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking physical abuse, please know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about your common everyday, maybe I didn't say that right. Maybe I didn't hold the door for you.
And me and you have walked through that. There was a time where I demonstrated a certain behavior pattern in public that made you uncomfortable, but you didn't use that against me. You came to me in private and said, I know you was going through a moment and A, B, C, D, D. You know what I mean? And
sure
I know that you can E, F, G, you know, and we hashed that out, but it never diminished our relationship. It actually grew it because I felt like there's a real woman around where I'm comfortable to evolve around. She's not going to hold my failures.
I like that comment.
Grace to evolve. Yes, that's good.
Christina.
And that's what it's all about. I feel like if we had each other's back that way, then we as a community, especially as a Black community, would be a lot more evolved, because it's my responsibility. Let me for the people that's going to be watching later on, even the ones that's watching now. Let me say this. We're talking about a real life situation where you challenged me on how I conducted myself in a certain situation. But you also felt safe enough to come to me when you were uncomfortable in a certain situation where you felt like you needed protection. And it wasn't, oh, I'm going to challenge his character because he had a failure. It was, I know his character, so I'm going to call him to his character. And his character also means He's a protector.
Mhm.
Women in today's modern society have lost that. And I know we can dive on and on and on. And I don't want to prolong the show. I want to respect the time and your time as well. Obviously, my platform is always open to you.
Well,
You
this
can
is
come back
good.
anytime
This
you
is-
want.
We can have
But-
a part two.
I'll leave it at this. What's the point of me fighting the world if I gotta come home and fight my woman?
Ooh.
That was inspired by Christopher J. I want to say that I want you to respond, and I want Mr. Grantastic to respond. I'm gonna say it one more time. This quote that I'm about to say is inspired by Christopher J. What's the point of me fighting the world if I have to come home and fight my woman? Respond to that.
I have to give you two responses
Okay,
on it
go
because
ahead.
it built my character into the relationships I have with my sisters and my other sisters.
Okay.
Born and raised in North Carolina, I have two sisters. I'm the middle child.
Okay.
One thing, one of many things my father told us as sisters: you are never to fight your sister in this house. You all will learn to get along, because when you hit the street, you're going to have to fight there. There will be no fighting in this house. So we had to work it out.
Mhm.
And we had our little disagreements.
Yeah.
But if he was ever home and we heard this his footsteps walking down the hall, we had wood for whatever we had going on, it ceased.
Mhm.
But it caused us to respect each other.
Yeah.
So to say to what you were saying, Randy, we still have room to grow where we can always level up on our respect.
Right.
Female
Right.
and male.
Mhm.
Right.
Always. Always. Even when we have to say, I apologize.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And or sometimes you gotta walk away. Table it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Table
Oh,
it.
There's the
my
art of tabling
God.
that. Like,
Table it.
Yeah.
Choose your battles.
Table
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
table this.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no one in my life right now that I love dearly where I'm going to have to fight to the point my anger level is going to supersede my characteristics that I can't go back and apologize.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Even when I'm wrong. Whether it's my mom, my big mama, my spiritual mama, what I'm going to apologize. I may have to come back and think about it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the extra energy I have.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
nothing they do
Yeah.
will ever get me to the point where I am going to disrespect myself, my character, and how I'm going to treat them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the way it should be.
And that's because you've
relationship.
built a level of self-confidence
Absolutely.
and self-identity.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to bring you back on the show because those are the two things I want to talk about whenever we set the date.
Oh yeah.
Self-confidence and self-identity. And you have a book called Soul Check, which I need you to do a part 2 of, by the way. We're going to talk outside of camera.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
In fact, I want you, because I'm writing a book called True Noble Truths. I want you to have a chapter in True Noble Truths called Soul Check. And I want you to write from a woman's perspective what that looks like. And we're going to talk offline about that because I think women need to hear from another woman what it looks like to check themselves out in a safety realm.
And absolutely in the
Yeah,
safety
in
realm.
a safety realm.
I would love to. I'm a certified life coach.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
would love to be able to implement that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm actually getting ready to write a curriculum, life skill curriculum for middle school and high school. And I'm going to put some of those things in there, which,
Oh, wow.
which speaks against the grain of how some of the things is being taught in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Definitely will be tapping into that.
Grantastic,
Right.
your final say so about tonight's topic or anything Miss Priscilla Monroe said.
You want me to go about fighting the world and then coming home and fight my woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the one thing that both men and women, especially black men and women, we have to understand about one another is that, first of all, we're in a fight together. And then we got to understand that, number one,
Mhm.
we are in a fight of white supremacy together.
Mm.
That's number one. And then number two, we do have certain battles that only pertain to black men and certain battles that pertain to black women.
Mm-hmm.
But number one, we are in this big fight together. And what I think both have to realize is that we're both fighting the world in different ways. And when we come home or when we are congregating together, when we are together, that should be our safe spot.
Yeah.
More than anything else,
Yeah.
the safety should be amongst ourselves.
Yes.
And because we're not safe outside, no matter what you want to believe, no matter because you can buy a smartphone, you can buy Jordans, you can get a house, you can get a car. It does not mean you are safe in this world when we are not together.
Gotcha, bitch.
Because of that, we have to understand this. Yes, we go through different struggles, but when we congregate, when we get together, we have to protect one another.
Yeah.
And as much as we're calling for black men to protect black women, we need black women to protect black men.
Yes.
We need it from both sides. And I know right now the hashtags are just popular with just one particular opinion and one view. But for our community, it has to come from both sides. Intimate relationships, friendships, whatever, we got to be able to have each other's back and protection, because when we go out there, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to come back home.
Facts.
And that's the reason why that I as much as it's being marketed to women right now, to being aggressive, to being like, all right, you know, take over the man and do this, and it's being marketed to men of just like bend the knee. That's not helping our community stand strong
at all.
And it's not biblical either.
It is not biblical either. And that's why I think people, we gotta stop drinking from this little spigot of white supremacy, because everything they're telling us is lies.
Let's just keep it 1,000. We got to stop drinking the cup of Christianity. Bottom line.
I was say, yeah, you know, it's just like,
because at the end of the day,
at
the end of the day, Christianity was created by the Roman Catholic Church, which is white supremacy. So you gotta read descriptions to find out what your religion was really called, because it was never called Christianity by the Black Hebrews who started the whole religion in the first place. So when you get Christianity out of the doorway, you'll understand how to treat your woman, and you'll understand how your woman is supposed to treat you in return.
Yeah.
Bottom line. I just want to say that. So anyway, I know we talked about a lot tonight. I know we dived into a lot of different things that could have been a lot of different shows and a lot of different topics. But I feel so honored to have Priscilla Monroe on my platform, not just because I know her personally, but because I've watched her journey and I've seen her evolve and even challenge herself, even when she didn't show it to the outside world. You know, I'm a viber. I can feel vibes. I can read things.
90
you know,
seconds.
Shut up, ho. I run this. So bottom line, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, she who said that,
She belongs to the streets.
So, but anyway, it's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that, aka Mr. Smack Your Great Great Grandmother. And we are going to do a part 2 to this specific show. We're going to set out the date and all that. Please subscribe to everything that Priscilla Monroe has, her Instagram, her website. All that is in the description of tonight's show. It's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that. And we will see you on next Monday before we take our season mid break. Deuces.
Deuces.